Welcome back to another episode of the Remote No Pressure Podcast, Bill.
Welcome.
Have you ever been?
Welcome. I don't know.
Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
It's just a goofy day.
It is a goofy day.
So another episode. This week's episode, we are actually going to publish our live podcast from Pittsburgh at Trout Unlimited.
Awesome.
We had a great time, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. That was a fun trip.
What was the name of that restaurant we went to with the fries on the
Oh
sandwich?
my gosh, I can't remember the name of it now without looking through my phone.
Anytime you go to like a new city, they have their own culture.
Their local cuisine.
What'd you think of the sandwich?
It was good. The sauerkraut was a little tart. Not was it sauerkraut? Was that what it was? Or coleslaw? Coleslaw.
Something.
It was just a little tart for my liking. But it was like a sandwich, and you picked your meat. There's coleslaw, then there's French fries.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. The fries were awesome. Yeah,
we were exhausted.
I was not eating the way I should have been eating according to my my strict regiment.
No, what's so crazy is like we always talk about on here, like the fishing trip. All the crazy things that go wrong is what you remember.
Yeah,
it's not the
time in the woods.
So you and I are like hungry.
Yep.
And we're getting into Pittsburgh. We're like, let's just get to the hotel first. And
yep.
I was going to change my clothes and then we'll go to the Trout Unlimited meeting and pick something up to eat.
Yep.
So we're heading over to the Hyatt. And it turns out Hyatt Street.
Completely different.
It's not the same as the Hyatt Hotel. And we were, because we gave ourselves a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Because we're like, we don't want to be right on time. We want to chill out in the hotel a little bit before we
go. Be a little early. It's always good to be early and be prepared.
You and I are early. We're early people.
Well, it's rude to keep people waiting.
Or we're on time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you've ever been late. Maybe 5 minutes if something crazy happens.
Traffic related. Yeah.
Yeah. But like you and I are both pretty on time people. So we're like, let's get there early. So all of a sudden we're like looking for this Hyatt Street. And then we find Hyatt Street. Let's just say Hyatt Street and Hyatt Hotel are not the same thing.
Yes. No correlation.
I did not feel welcome at all at Hyatt Street.
Yeah.
The stairs.
I didn't feel as unsafe as I would in, say, a Grand Rapids hood.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't want to get out of the car and ask for directions.
No, I wasn't going to do that. But so we get there like right on time.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I think we had like 10 minutes.
Yep.
And we're like, what are we going to eat? And we're both exhausted and tired. Yep. And we find some my kids' crackers in the glove compartment. And we're like, let's just eat this. And then we went out afterwards. So that was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, it was.
That was a good time. Super big thanks out to Trout Unlimited in Pittsburgh. Now, and we have some listeners out there too, which was really cool.
Yeah, we got some new ones too.
It was cool to meet listeners. Anything ever happened to you crazy, like when you're out fishing?
Nothing too crazy yet.
No attacks by any kind of sharks or anything?
No. Thank God for Michigan, right?
Well, it turns out a man was bit by a shark while fishing in Boca Grande Pass. Is it Grande? Boca Grande
I don't know.
Pass.
Do we have any Florida listeners?
What we're going to do is we are going to call it Boca Grande Pass because if I say Boca Grande Pass,
that sounds racist.
I'm just white. Unless I'm talking about Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Then I can say Grande.
Yeah.
Or if
you're at Taco Bell
or Starbucks, or if I'm at Starbucks. Now let's just talk about the word Grande for a second.
Yeah.
If I go to Starbucks, you want a tall Grande or venti, I could say Grande.
Yeah.
However, whenever I'm at the local taco stand, Tacos El Caporal on 28th Street, the absolute best tacos in town.
That is delicious.
And they're all Mexican there.
Yep.
And they all speak
That's
fluent
authentic.
Spanish. If I say
cow tongue tacos,
if she's like, "What size drink do you want?" and I say Grande, she looks at me kind of funny. So I don't say. But to be honest with you, maybe she wouldn't look at me funny. But maybe. I don't say it because I'm trying to be sensitive.
Well, why are you being sensitive if you're speaking their native? Is that a native tongue? Is Grande at large in Spanish or grand?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think it's okay to say Grande?
See, I had somebody on my team who was not from Michigan. Uh-huh. He was fluent Spanish, great guy. And when he would take me to Mexican restaurants, and he would speak to them.
So he would speak to them in Spanish.
Yeah. Okay. And would that be racist? Like, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
They're both Hispanic. There's no problem with that.
You know what?
But if I were to do that, would that be acceptable?
Do you know what I'm afraid of? I speak Spanglish. I'm from Texas.
Yeah.
Grew up there. I know a lot of Spanish. I wouldn't say I'm fluent, but I'm pretty dang good at it.
Yeah.
But here's my concern.
Mm-hmm.
I go up there and she's like, "What would you like? What size?" And I say, "Grande." And then all of a sudden, she goes off in Spanish, and I don't understand what she's saying.
Slow.
So maybe it's like my insecurity.
That might be.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just like.
That might be.
But it feels weird to say grande at the taco stand. But it doesn't feel weird to say grande
at Starbucks.
That's something to ponder. Speaking of weird thing happens, back to what we were saying. Man bit by shark fishing. Man bit by shark fishing in Boca Grande Pass. So a man was bitten by a shark on his leg in Boca Grande Pass in Florida. Turns out he was tarpon fishing, ended up in the water. And that's crazy.
That is crazy.
You know, I grew up fishing Matagorda Bay, which is down in Texas, and lots of the bays. And we would wade in the bay. It wasn't very deep. And we would have a stringer tied to our belt. Okay. And that's been a lot of years ago. Now it's like I would never do that because the fish bleed.
Yeah.
But Matagorda Bay,
that's like chumming the water.
Yeah, exactly. But Matagorda Bay, I mean, there's no great whites or anything like that because the water's pretty warm. I think they need like a colder water. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but the thing is down there now is the alligators have taken over.
Oh, that'd be even worse.
Yeah,
can alligators survive in salt water?
Yeah, brackish water. So the way it works with the alligators or with the bays, especially rivers are coming in and the oceans or the Gulf is there, so it's real brackish water. So yeah, absolutely.
That is crazy.
And they're big.
Yeah,
they're really big.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah, so
they're fast too. They can run fast on land. They can swim fast. I mean, like, yeah. I'd be more scared of an alligator than a shark.
I would
they'll follow you on land.
I don't like alligators too. Yeah. But now they've just the population's blown up down in Texas, and like where my dad lives, because he lives right next to a bay down in Texas. Yeah. I'm trying to think of which bay it is. It's right off Galveston Bay, but there's another bay that's connected to it, and they've got more alligators per capita than any place in Louisiana.
That's nuts.
And you think Louisiana has all the alligators?
Yeah. They're all over. They're in. Are they in like what's the next neighboring state? Mississippi.
Yeah, and then Alabama.
They're in Alabama too.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering, like, how much of the South actually has alligators?
Yeah,
Florida has them too, right?
Florida. Oh yeah, the Everglades.
So probably all the Gulf states.
I would think they could be.
Yeah.
You know, but like where my dad lives, I would never like get in the water anymore. When I was younger, yeah, we would do that. We'd wade and have a good time. But now, like down the street from my dad's house, there's a bar. Okay, across the bridge, down by Old River. That's what it's called.
Old River.
Yeah, Old River. Not. I'm not the newfangled river. I'm the old river. But they have like a bar, and it goes out on the bay, and it had a big sign that says "Don't jump in to the water." You know. But this guy, he gets all liquored up, and he wants to show off for his girlfriend at like 2 a.m. and decides, screw that. I'm just going to jump in the water. He never came up. Never found him. Got eaten by an alligator. And then the Texas Department of Wildlife had to come out and like take care of the alligator.
So they found bits of them?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Isn't that nuts?
That is crazy.
And that wasn't that long ago. You know?
Man.
So anyways.
That is nuts.
That's an interesting article. So hopefully that guy gets better, and watch your back when you're fishing saltwater. It makes fishing the Asable even that much better.
I know. You can see what's around you.
You can see what's around you. There's no craziness, but anyway, so this week we just are going to publish our time there at Trout Unlimited.
Yeah.
Super thanks. I had a great time hanging out with you, Bill.
Yeah, you too.
It was good.
It was a fun 24 hours.
Yeah, it was quick.
It was.
But it was a lot of fun. So hope you guys enjoy it. Welcome to the podcast. Let's light the fire.
We always try to bring some really neat speakers, and we have something kind of different for you tonight. Jeff Troutman runs a podcast. If you ever heard podcasts, you can get on the internet, you can listen to them. And we just thought it would be something kind of different tonight for you. So I hope you, after we're finished with tonight, I hope you get online and check it out. It's called Remote No Pressure, and I'll let Jeff kind of talk a little bit more about that. But give a round of applause to our speaker.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me out. Thank you, Chris, for inviting us. And we drove up from Grand Rapids, Michigan this morning. Yeah, and so that's why I look like Waldo. I put this shirt on, and I wasn't planning on wearing it tonight, but we got a little lost in Pittsburgh, and so we didn't get to our hotel. So anyways, the Waldo thing was a joke, but feel free to laugh. This is Bill. He's my co-host. Our co-host. Yeah, just give him a hand. Bill's awesome. I started the Remote No Pressure podcast about 2 years ago, and it's grown exponentially. It's amazing. It's been a lot of fun. And, I'll tell you more about it. But if you go and listen to like season 1, episode 2 or 3, if you have an iPhone, there's actually a podcast app on there, and you can search Remote No Pressure. And if you go take a look at it and listen to season 1, that's pre-Bill. And season 2 is post-Bill. You'll see a tremendous difference in the sound quality because he's an audio engineer, and I just really appreciate all that he does. He's just an awesome guy.
My pleasure.
We call him Wild Bill because he likes Zach Wild, and
Used to have a long hair too.
Hair. Yeah. So, I'd love for Bill to tell his story too in a little bit. But what had happened was I have 2 children. I have a son. I have two sons. I got a 9-year-old, and I got a 6-year-old. And I'm sure a lot of you can reminisce at times when you had a 9 or 6-year-old, or maybe you have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. But my wife, 6 years ago, had just had our baby boy, and I had a profession. I worked in finance, and I worked like 60, 70 hours a week. And my wife had a newborn baby, and as most of you know, you don't sleep when you have a newborn baby. All you do is drink coffee and hope for the best. And I remember I was having this problem. I was having this issue. I'm like, I'm working my tail off, and there's not enough time. There's not enough money. There's not enough anything. And I'm stressed to the limit, and I'm having like this mental problem. And I isolated myself, and I took myself inward, and I'm like, I can take care of this. I finally just got to a really dark point where I'm like, I'm going to go get some professional help. And so I went and saw we had like a free thing at work where you can get like 5 free visits to a counselor for free. And I know guys don't like to talk to counselors, but I was like, I got to get this thing figured out because that's how my brain works. And so I went to my counselor, and I told her, I said, look, I'm really struggling. I'm having a really hard time just balancing work and balancing life at home, balancing my mental state. I'm going crazy. And she said, Jeff, talking to you after 4 or 5 visits, she said, Jeff, there's nothing wrong with you. What you're experiencing is normal. I'm sure all of you have experienced this. She said, but you need a hobby. You need something to do. You got to get out of the office. You got to get away from your family every once in a while and get away and take up a hobby. Well, I had won this fly rod, a Bass Pro Shop fly rod. It's a 9-foot 5-weight fly rod, and I had it sitting in the corner of my house, in my office. And I'm like, you know what? What the heck? I'm just gonna go try this thing out. So, International Fly Fishers had a group on Tuesday nights, a bunch of guys that were like twice my age, sitting on buckets fly fishing, on the side of a river. And I just showed up, and I said, hey, I really need to learn how to fly fish, and it changed my life. And I began to wade in the streams. I began to fly fish for smallmouth bass with a olive green woolly bugger. And all summer, I thought this was the coolest thing. I wet waded, and we're from Michigan, and so we have some great trout streams there as well. So as the summer turned to fall, I continued to fish. But I always fished a little bit with spinning gear, but fly fishing was just another level. It almost took me into the water with a fish. You're in that environment. You hear the water. You hear the birds. You see the different flowers, and different flowers means different bugs and different hatches, and it all comes together. And it really changed my life, and it really helped me in a mental state. And I said, you know what? I've got to share this thing. I got to do more, because everyone in my chapter is like really old, like twice as old as me. And there's so many people that are disconnected, that are like the millennials and younger, that are way disconnected because they're on their computers and they're on their screens and they're on their phones. And it's like, we got to get them out there, There was some research done back in 1980 for some guys that were middle-aged, and they asked, if something happened to you, if you were to wake up in the middle of the night and your wife or your loved one was sick, or you needed someone, How many of you have a close friend that you could call in the middle of the night and help you out? And the average answer was one person that they could call, a friend. And they recently did the same study in 2016, middle-aged guys, and they said, hey, how many people can you call in the middle of the night? A good friend that you trust that would help you. And the average answer was 0. And as a society, we continue to isolate ourselves more and more and more. If you take a look at the suicide rates on middle-aged men, especially white men, it's like 80%, 70, 80% of all suicides are in that range. And I think back on the times that I was extremely stressed out, trying to balance family, trying to balance life, and there's crazy thoughts. There's crazy thoughts that go on in your head. And so fly fishing is, as I began to dig in more, I started to learn about Project Healing Waters and working with different veterans, and I realized there's just something about fly fishing that's very powerful that can change lives. So I didn't know anyone in the fly fishing industry. I know no one except for the guys I fly fish with my Bass Pro Rod, but I'm like, I gotta share this thing. So I sat down at my computer, I was like, I'm gonna start a podcast. And I had like this table that, it was like a card table, and it was really junky, and it would shake every time like my kids would run by. And I had like an old Macintosh computer on it, and I don't know what I'm doing. So I sat down at my desk, and I would email 12 people on LinkedIn every night until someone would say, yes, I'll be on your podcast. And the first guest that we had was Captain Joe DeMalderis. Does anybody know Joe DeMalderis? There you go. He is actually a guide on the Upper Delaware over on the east side of the state. And I didn't realize that he's that big of a deal, you know? And what's great is not knowing anybody. We've had some awesome guests that everybody knows on our podcast, like Oliver White. And there was another girl, too. April Vokey was on our podcast. And what's so great is I don't know who these people are, so I never get starstruck. And it's like a very comfortable conversation because I was never involved in the fly fishing world. So let me scoot back a little bit. Let me tell you this story because I had this joke figured out that I would tell you guys, then I forgot it. So when I was a kid, my mom would lock us outside the house because she would clean the house. You know, in summertime, we lived on a lake. It was 1988, and she would lock us out of the house and said, unless it's emergency, do not come in because I'm cleaning the house. I never understood that until I had kids, and now I'm like, okay, I totally understand locking your kids out to play. And I remember, I like this show called Rescue Rangers with these little chipmunks, and they would jump off the side of a table, and they'd have this trash bag, and they use it as like a parachute. And I'm like, that's amazing. That's a great idea. I'm like, I'm bigger than a chipmunk, but I'm pretty sure that a bigger trash bag would work, you know? So my mom locks me out of the house. This is what boys do. So my mom locked me out of the house one summer, and I took some contraband. I took a big industrial-sized trash bag in my pocket, and I climbed to the top of my favorite pine tree, and I jumped. And 10 feet later, the air's knocked out of my breath, and my first thought was, I should have grabbed 2 trash bags. Isn't that a great joke? It's really happened, though. But, you know, we've just forgotten as a society to play. We've forgotten, Stephen Covey has the 7 habits. The 7th habit is sharpen your saw. And so many times as a society, we have forgotten that you have to go outside and play. My kids, it's a constant fight. Get off the computer. You know, you can't play a computer. You can't watch TV. Go. We live in a cornfield. Go break something. Go chase a squirrel around, you know. Go get in trouble. I love it. So it's just a passion. And that's why I started the fly fishing podcast. It's just because of a passion. Last September, there you go, September, I released an album called Songs About Fly Fishing, which is also on iTunes. One of my guests on season 2 was Bill.
What's that?
Bill was one of my guests on season 1. Season 1. Yeah.
Yes.
So how have the outdoors affected your life, Bill?
Well, a lot of ways. So if you want to listen to my whole story, that's on season 1. But like I had a drinking problem and weighed 100 pounds more, and I was just in a bad way. Got pulled over one night. I also worked for a large brewery in Grand Rapids, like one of the premier breweries out of the city, and so I got a lot of free booze from that place, and that didn't help my habit of drinking. And then one night, got pulled over a mile from my house, and changed everything. You know, I had to quit one job, stayed working. I'm still a professional. I work full time doing sound for a living. So that's why I'm helping out. That's why I'm recording too. So if it doesn't turn out well, that's my fault. But had to take control of my life because it was just a downward spiral then, and so started getting into camping more, and we reconnected. We actually go back several years to 2002 when we first met. And,
Right out of college.
That's right. And so we reconnected. We actually met up a few times. You were talking about your fly fishing album, and that you were asking for advice, and I connected you with some local musicians, and then after my DUI. I told him I was just getting into camping and getting into hiking, and he's like, "Dude, I gotta take you fly fishing." And that was summer of 2017. That was my first time fly fishing, and he took me out of the Flat River up in Grand Rapids, and I hooked a smallmouth, and that got me hooked. Hooking that smallmouth. I've taken a few friends, tried to introduce him to the way Jeff did for me, but hasn't caught as well as it has for me. But yeah.
Yeah, and how many pounds did you lose by going outdoors?
Lost 100 pounds.
100 pounds.
Yeah.
So, like, Bill doesn't even look like the same person, and it wasn't some crazy weight loss thing or whatever.
Half of that was the hair.
I want to take just a moment just to talk to you guys. Thank you so much, first of all, for listening to our episode here of our time at Trout Unlimited. And I'd like to take a little second and talk about the people who make this show happen.
Yes.
We have Phil Wingo.
Yes.
Who is the owner of Sand Hill Coffee.
Indeed.
What do you think about it?
I like it. Phil's a good guy, and the coffee's great.
Phil's a good guy.
I'm a big fan of the Big Lakes blend.
Yeah,
Big Lake. I'm sorry. I keep adding an S.
You got to be getting close to being out of it by this time.
Yeah.
You've had it for that
I
month.
know.
I wonder if he's got any more in stock.
We got to push him.
We
More
gotta
dark
push him.
roast.
And I like that Big
We gotta
Lake
make
blend.
a remote no pressure blend.
An R&P blend, an official limited
Yes.
edition dark roast
Yes.
blend. That would be fun.
That would be cool.
But speaking of R&P, remote no pressure, he sent me a sample of a new blend.
The Papua New Guinea.
So that would be, instead of R&P, it would be P&G, Papua
Mhm.
New Guinea. With Papua New Guinea, and it's really delicious. I like it.
That was good.
Yeah, but he's a fly angler, which is a big deal. You know, we like.
Yeah.
I mean, all our sponsors don't have to fly fish, but when they do, we really love that. You know, so support a local angler who's doing a great thing, giving 1% back to his community.
Mhm.
Also, if you go onto his website at
Sandhillcoffee.com.
it sounds like we dropped it, like edited
I know.
in at sandhillcoffee.com. Sandhillcoffee.com and type in outside 19. You'll get 20% off your first order.
That is awesome.
So
Thanks,
go try
Phil.
it. Chasky's good.
That it is.
All of it's good. I haven't
is
had
good.
any bad coffee from them. So go to Sandhill Coffee. Go to
Sandhillcoffee.com. Sandhillcoffee.com.
sandhillcoffee.com. That will stick. We are copywriters here at the Remote No Pressure Podcast. We will help you remember.
Trendsetters.
Trendsetters. Type in outside 19 for 20% off your first order, and he will gladly send it out. It comes really quick too.
Yeah.
Also, we have another sponsor, Ross White and his company.
Deli Fresh Design.
We love.
Coffee.
No, we're not on that ad
I know.
anymore.
I was still doing that voice. I'm sorry. Were you going for sustainability? Is that the word you were looking for?
We love. Let's try it again. We love.
Sustainability.
We love
Deli Fresh Design. What are you looking for?
sustainability with a robot voice. We love.
Sustainability.
There you go. We love it. And Ross White is dedicated to it with his brand, Deli Fresh Design, where he makes awesome, unique fly fishing gear that actually is made out of stuff that would normally end up in the
Landfills.
So
Landfills.
yeah. That would normally end up in the
Landfills.
There you go. Perfect. You ever see that Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Yeah. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Everyone knows how nerdy we are now.
Yep. Did you ever watch Flight of the Conchords?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Do you remember the robot song? What was it? The Distant Future or whatever?
Yeah. That was a brilliant show.
That was.
I wish we could license the song so we could play it for everyone.
I know. Just look it up.
Just look it up. But anyways, if you're looking for awesome, unique fly fishing gear dedicated, or for a fly fishing company dedicated to sustainability, everything's made in America out of Denver. Check out Ross White's company at DeliFreshDesign.com or in the robot voice, Bill.
DeliFreshDesign.com.
Let's get back to the podcast.
Half of it, yeah. He had a big, long hair thing. And so, his life has been changed by fly fishing. And so many people that we know and our friends,
Yeah.
we do trout camp where we have some really stressed out middle-aged guys that go out with us. And I remember this one time, we never know who's coming. And we invite like 30 people and usually 10 people come. And we had this guy come and he's got 10 kids. And I remember all he wanted to do was sleep, because he had 10 kids, And he ended up the next night building a fire. Like he was really motivated to build a campfire. And I'm like, sure, dude, go ahead, And he built a campfire. And I said, Josh, when is the last time you built a campfire? And this dude's like in his late 30s, maybe I think he was 40 at the time. He said, Jeff, I haven't started a campfire since I was 12 years old. And it like just renewed his soul. And even though he didn't really fish much because he slept most of the weekend, it was just amazing to see him get outside and get outdoors and make it like a priority. And it's so hard to make things a priority because life is busy. So it's been an amazing run. Bill, what have you enjoyed most about the podcast?
Hearing all the different stories from everybody and getting together every week, chatting about everything before we start recording, and just the camaraderie we've had. That talking about upcoming trips, talking about fly fishing, all that fun stuff. Yeah,
it's something different about fly fishing than it is about spin fishing. And my father-in-law is a spin fisherman, and he thinks fly fishermen are snobs. And it's funny because he's using some. I've tied him up some black stone flies to use for steelhead season this year, and he is like, I'll try them this year. So I'm getting him converted. But the stories of sobriety, the stories of people coming home from the military and not knowing what to do, and their PTSD with fly tying and fly fishing, there's just great camaraderie. And the question is, why do we do it? Why do we come to Trout Unlimited? Why do we have these nonprofit organizations? Why do we care about the streams and the waters and the things that we do? Why do we talk about watersheds and things like that? And it's because of the life-changing experiences that I'm sure everyone here has had. So this season we've brought on a couple of sponsors, and they sent us a couple of things. Do we have any like really hardcore coffee snobs here? Not one. One? I don't know. I drink Folgers. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you drink medium t-shirt? You want a medium shirt? You raise your hand. Here you go. This is Sandhill Coffee. This is our sponsor this year. And this is one of our major sponsors.
Yeah.
What did you think of the coffee, Bill?
It was good. Yeah. It was enjoyable.
Did someone say their wife likes coffee? It's an extra large, but it's small. And it'll shrink probably. I don't know how big your wife is, but I shouldn't say that. Yeah, we try. There's a lot of podcasts out there where guys just drink beer in their garage and talk bull, and we try to keep.
We do that afterwards.
We try to keep it classy, don't we, Bill?
We try.
Yeah. So
sometimes I put my foot in my mouth.
Until Bill and we edit it in post production. We had an Asian carp episode recently.
We didn't want to sound racist, so we beeped out.
So we beep out the word Asian. So,
yeah.
But yeah, we can play a couple tunes for you. Do you guys have any questions about podcasts at all, or what they are? No.
If anybody wants help subscribing afterwards too, I can help.
Yeah, if you want to help find it or subscribe, we'll be more than happy to help you out. So let me set up, and Bill's gonna play some music for it. No, this
is an iPhone. I'm gonna plug it in.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
And I'm just going to walk around and get the sound set for him. And, yeah.
Now, my home river is the Muskegon River. Anyone ever fish Michigan at all? Muskegon River, have you guys done that one? Yeah, it's a great river, isn't it? It's big. It's a big river. And so my father-in-law, I'm from Texas originally. I'm from Houston, Texas. And my father-in-law kept bugging me because I used to saltwater fish all the time. And he said, you need to go up to the Muskegon River. I know those little fish in the river. Like, I catch big redfish. He's like, no, you need to go to the river and fish. And so he bought me a spin casting rig to go for steelhead and salmon. And so I went up with him to the Muskegon River, and it was, and I had some waders, some red dot from Meyer, because I didn't know about this whole even spinning fishing thing. And I remember we went out Sunday after Thanksgiving one year, and it was super cold, and I got up super early, and we went out, and I fell in the river. My father-in-law was like, just, watch out, because, there's these places where they brood right there, and then there's a big hole, and we want to fish the holes and everything. And he's explaining everything to me, and I was like, yeah, whatever, John. He's like 6'5", and like 5'5" of that is all of his legs, so it's no problem like wading at all. And sure enough, like within 10 minutes, I fell in the water, and my waders filled up again. And we live like an hour from the Muskegon River, and then my father-in-law gets really weirded out, so he told me to strip down to your underwear. And we get home, and I walk in the house in my underwear, and my wife is like, what are you doing? I was like, yeah. She's like, you just left a couple hours ago. And I'm like, yeah, I totally sunk. But I fell in love with the river. I guess it's kind of like baptism. I was baptized in the river, So the song is about the Muskegon River. There's a river just north of town, the same old river where I nearly drowned. I fished the oceans and I fished the 7 seas, but with every cast I make, I hear my river calling me. Roll on, old river, roll on, old friend of mine. Roll on, old river, roll on, old friend. Smallies in the summertime, you catch steelhead in the spring. The run of late October, well, who knows what winter brings. Cluck up a goose that stuck around long after his friends flew down south, just to have a moment all to himself. Roll on, old river, roll on, old friend of mine. Roll on, old river, roll on, old friend. Roll on, old river, roll on, old friend of mine. Roll on, old river, roll on, old friend. There's a river just north of town, the same old river where I nearly drowned. So my grandfather was a faith healer, and fly fishing is more my religion, and it really fits well with my lifestyle. But I grew up in a very weird environment, and so like I referred to it as baptism for me. There's a lot of things that fly fishing has become my church and become what I am, and these are my people. And I come in here tonight, and you're talking about flies and talking about fish, and I hear Willie Nelson playing, and you guys are cool, and you guys have a lot of more experience than me. I love it here, and I just really appreciate it. So this is my hymn, I guess you could say, to fly fishing. Sun begins to shine, the fog appears and then subsides, like the thoughts inside my head, all is clear. Tie on a local fly, one I've never tried, and hope and pray as it drifts by that it is all they said it'd be. Well, the streets aren't made of gold, ivory, precious stones, so the mud and rocks they're gonna have to do. No choirs of angels here, but this river sure is clear. Oh, this is the heaven that I know. clouds began to gather, turns into perfect weather to be out on this river all alone. Slightly overcast, but this one will be my last. But I swear I said that 1,000 times ago. Well, the streets are made of gold, ivory, precious stones. So the mud and rocks they're gonna have to do. The choirs of angels here, but this river sure is clear. Oh, this is the heaven that I know. In that sweet by and by, winding rivers, hooks and flies. It's here I live, it's here I die. In that sweet, sweet by and by. Well, the streets are made of gold, ivory, precious stones. So the mud and rocks they're gonna have to do. The choirs of angels here, but this river sure is clear. Oh, this is the heaven that I know. Well, thank you guys very much. Thank you, Bill, so much for all that you do. I just really appreciate you guys. The podcast wouldn't be what it is without Bill. Wouldn't be what it is without you guys listening. Some of you listen every week. I hope you guys tune in. Or check us out at remotenopressure.com. And I thank you so much. I'll turn it back over to you, Chris.
Thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of the Remote No Pressure Podcast. Thanks for coming, Bill.
Yeah, it was a good trip.
I always enjoy hanging out with you, man.
Same here.
Good times. If you like the music, it is available on Spotify, Apple Music, and all the publishing, all the platforms.
All that stuff.
All that. It's called Songs About Fly Fishing. Those two songs came from. And also follow us and give us reviews. So we enjoy the reviews.
Yeah.
I guess we need to talk about that more.
Don't talk about the mix because that was the mix was good, but I mean I'm nervous. Just take it easy.
Take it easy. But we always really appreciate your.
Yeah, we do.
What happens is when you review our podcast, it actually helps our rankings and like iTunes.
Yeah.
For Fly Fishing Podcasting. So go there, leave us a review. If it's anything below a 5-star, though, I mean, really, just email me. No, totally kidding. Leave us a review. We always appreciate that. And until next time, go fishing.